Dear friends, let us speak about Arjuna's questions in the Bhagavad Gita. So, in our tradition, we have this verse from uh, from the scriptures. Athato Brahma Jigyasa Atha Ato. Now therefore, when we are in the human form of life, is the time to inquire about the absolute truth. And we want to inquire about what is absolute truth and how one can understand what is absolute truth. And then Arjuna is a very good inquirer. He's inquiring very important questions of Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. And I have these questions in front of me here. I have put them in one file. I can also send them to you if you like. So we want to learn something from his questions. He is asking very important, relevant questions. He's not asking how to make money and how to be happy in the material life, but he is asking Krishna what is best for me. He is asking Krishna about the absolute truth, about God. Now, some of his questions, or all of his questions, we can use for our own progress, for our own spiritual advancement. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, Text 5, the importance of questions is stressed, and Sutta Goswami is thanking the sages of Naimisharanya, who are headed by Shonaka Rishi, for asking 6 questions, and the whole Bhagavatam is also based on 6 questions. Why questions are important? Questions are important because thinking leads to conclusions. Our thinking is consisted of questions and answers. When we think, we always ask ourselves questions and we try to come up with the answer, or we look for the answer for somebody else. So questions are part of thinking, and our thinking leads to conclusions, different conclusions. And conclusions lead to decisions, and decisions lead to action, and action brings results. So therefore, for us is very beneficial, very useful, very advantageous, very favorable, very auspicious to ask excellent questions. And we are learning from Arjuna and from other devotees in the Srimad Bhagavatam how to ask excellent questions. And excellent questions have to do with God and with absolute truth and with our own position in the universe, and also with the success principles which are there given by God. So you can create your personal success questions, and we also call them daily questions that your friends can ask you and you can ask them. And these questions can start with, have I done my best to? And now you state something. Have I done my best to chant my rounds attentively? Have I done my best to read the scriptures attentively? Have I done my best to be nice to my family? Have I done my best to do some work? Have I done my best to serve the Lord today? Have I done my best to spread Krishna consciousness or to share Krishna consciousness with others? And so when you start with this, have I done my best, then it just makes you responsible for all of your goals and all of your priorities. So you can create 5 to 10 questions and then give them to your friend or a coach, and they can ask you these questions, and they can help you think about these questions and reflect, and in this way measure your performance and check your results. In this way you can have success partnerships with your friends, and I can send you our success partnership guide, a little file, a short file, which explains several structures how you can do this success partnership. And here one of the ways is that we suggest is also mentioned here. I mentioned it here. It's daily questions. This is one way to do success partnership. Daily questions. Now let us look at some of Arjuna's questions. I cannot do all of them now, but I can continue later. So this will not be a my long presentation. Okay, in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna says in the verses 32 to 35, O Govinda, of what avail to us are a kingdom, happiness, or even life itself, when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed on this battlefield? O Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, fathers-in-law, grandsons, brothers-in-law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them even though they might otherwise kill me? O maintainer of all living entities, I am not prepared to fight with them, even in exchange for the three worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure will we derive from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? Now these Arjuna's questions are not based on transcendental knowledge. They are based on material relations, material perception of relationships, material understanding of life, and on some maybe mundane morality. So Arjuna is a very elevated person, and he knows Vedic principles, and he will give later to Krishna certain arguments and reasons why he doesn't want to fight. So in the verse 36 he continues to explain why he feels like this. Sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of the goddess of fortune, and how could we be happy by killing our own kinsmen? So Arjuna starts with questions that are not first class, they are not excellent questions, they are not high class, but they are good. They are very good questions because he wants to clarify his doubts. And when one has doubts, one should ask questions of his spiritual master or of Krishna, if Krishna is personally present, or someone who has more knowledge than us. So when we have doubts and we are not sure what to do, then we should ask questions openly and sincerely. Then in the verses 37 and 38, he continues to ask in the same mood. O Janardana, although these men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends, why should we, who can see the crime in destroying a family, engage in these acts of sin? So now Arjuna is thinking that this will be sinful to fight in this battle, and Krishna will explain to him that actually it is not sinful, it will be sinful if he doesn't do it, just the opposite. And now in the second chapter of the Gita, Arjuna says, O killer of enemies, O killer of Madhu, how can I counterattack with arrows in battle men like Bhishma and Drona who are worthy of my worship? Now he is becoming more specific and asking questions about persons who are very close to him. Dronacharya is his teacher, he taught him how to fight. Bhishmadev is also very closely related to him. And so he's asking, he says, these people are worthy of my worship. How can I fight against them and try to kill them? I mean, these are very, very tough questions. And Arjuna is expressing his doubts very openly and sincerely to Krishna. And now the verse I mentioned also in my some of my presentations here on this Facebook page a few days ago, we read this verse, Bhagavad Gita 2:7. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and the soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. So Arjuna has first expressed his doubts, and Krishna tried to appease him and tried to explain to him what is his duty, and that he should not run away from the battlefield, and that he should fight for justice, he should fight for protecting religious principles, he should fight for what belongs to them also. And but he is still not confused, he is still not convinced. And he admits, after Krishna has responded to his doubts and his questions related to his doubts, Arjuna is, at the beginning of the second chapter, Arjuna admits that he is still confused. And he is not sure what is his duty. So he wants to be sure what is best for him. He says, I'm in a very bad condition, please help me. He is asking for help. And as I said, the first principle of success, that we understand that we cannot make it alone. We need help. We need to learn from others. We need support. We need to see how others are doing, what we want to do, how they become successful. So nobody can become successful alone. Behind every great person there is a great team, or there is a great family, or great wife, or great husband. So there is always somebody who is helping us. So Arjuna, although he is a very great personality and very knowledgeable personality and very brave personality and very powerful person, he admits that he needs help. So these are this is the beginning of his questions, and I will take only one more verse from the second chapter and we will stop here for now, and I will continue later today, I think, or tomorrow, as I have time. So in the 54th verse, Arjuna is now asking some very, very good questions. These are the questions that we should ask. These are excellent questions. Arjuna is asking, O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak, and what is his language? How does he sit, and how does he walk? So now Arjuna is starting to inquire about a person with higher consciousness, with transcendental consciousness or spiritual consciousness, and he wants to know what are the symptoms of such a person. And the most important quality of a person, or one of the most important qualities of a person, is how does he speak? And Arjuna is asking this question. And he also wants to know how does he sit and how does he walk. So in the commentary, Srila Prabhupada explains that the most important quality of any man is how he speaks. And it's important that one speaks about spiritual matters, that one speaks about God and about service to God, about purification of the heart, about spiritual advancement. And now, from the verse 54 to the verse 72, Krishna is explaining from the verse 55 to the verse 72. 72 is the last verse in this chapter. Krishna is explaining actually what are the symptoms of the person with transcendental consciousness, or the person whose consciousness is merged in transcendence. And we will speak about it also. We will go through this in some of my future broadcasts here. But for now, we want to focus on Arjuna's questions, try to understand them, try to analyze them, and try to see how they will benefit us. So we try to learn from Arjuna how to ask relevant questions that will help us to attain the highest benefit in life and success. So now we have finished the first two chapters and looked at the questions that Arjuna asked in first two chapters, and then we will go to chapter 3 also and other chapters in our next broadcast. So thank you very much for listening, and I wish you a wonderful day.